The Fed15 podcast is presented by Serving Those Who Serve, a financial planning practice serving federal government employees and retirees all over the country. This podcast is for informational purposes only and is not intended to be taken as financial advice. All listeners should consult their personal advisors before taking any action. The opinions expressed by our hosts are their own and do not reflect the views, policies, or position of either Raymond James or Serving Those Who Serve. Securities are offered through Raymond James Financial Services, Inc., member FINRA SIPC. Investment advisory services are offered through Raymond James Financial Services Advisors, Inc. Serving Those Who Serve is not a registered broker-dealer and is independent of Raymond James Financial Services, Inc.
Welcome, everyone, to the Fed15 podcast presented by, say it with me, Serving Those Who Serve. Each week, we discuss the latest news and info that Feds need to know in 15 minutes-ish or less. So whether you're a seasoned federal employee or just starting out in your career, we've got you covered. So grab your coffee, your energy drink, your green juice, or evidently now there's something called a Celsius. I've just learned about this. Whatever gets that motor running to get you out on the highway, we will tell you what you need to know but might have missed. We are your hosts. I'm Dan Seif, and I am joined by the radiant and glowing Katelyn Murray because Katelyn is just back from some time off. And, I was in a little bit of detox during that time because, first off, anything that you see on this podcast, anything that you see in media stuff, if it's good, it's Katelyn. Okay. If it's meh, it's probably me. But so Katelyn, how was your trip?
It was great. It was wonderful. Yeah. And I'm really looking forward to, I heard Jen did a great job on the podcast last week.
Indeed.
So love that we were able to kind of get some different faces in front of our audience and, really appreciate for the July 4th holiday, Independence Day. I was allowed in honor of Independence Day to leave my desk, leave my post.
Yes.
So
just call me Simon Legree. Thank you for that.
Yeah, heat dome in Virginia Beach. I guess if it is going to be like a, crazy weather pattern, some sort of heat dome, like surface of the sun level temperatures, I guess the beach is where you want to be. It was pretty toasty, but had a wonderful time. And
that's just a great beach. That's a great beach too.
Yeah.
I love
that
area is
Virginia
awesome.
Beach. Yeah. I grew up going to Myrtle a lot, but then, a couple times we went to Virginia Beach and since probably about 5 years ago, it's been Virginia. They've built it up so much and the boardwalk is really nice and it's just a great place. So, and I know we have a lot of feds in the DC area. I've got love for Ocean City, Maryland as well.
Sure.
I will always love my memories of Ocean City. So,
I have that. I have Fenwick as well. And my kiddos are in Myrtle right now because,
cool.
Colin's in-laws have long history with going to Myrtle, and they're hardy folks. They camp. And, OG will add himself right here. My idea of roughing it is when the ice machine's broken on my floor.
Too funny. Yeah. No, glamping is okay, but the full on camping experience is not so much for me. I had a real bad incident with bug spray and a campfire, but we won't get into that in our cool 15. So we've got an exciting episode for you folks today. We're covering a couple really great pieces on the blog. We've got a piece out on a topic that we don't talk about maybe as much as we should, really kind of niching down federal retirement planning for single employees, some unique considerations that unmarried folks want to look at when they're prepping for retirement, because there's a lot that goes into it. And then Dan, a little bit later, is going to go over a beautiful piece that is up on the blog now in remembrance of Representative Gerry Connolly, a titan for feds. So we're gonna talk about him. We're gonna pay him some respect here on the podcast following his passing. So diving in first to kind of the more financial planning focused article this week, this piece on financial planning for single employees. There's a lot that goes into financial planning and retirement planning and preparation for retirement. And one of the things that I think it's important to think through, there are a lot of folks who just don't get married. In fact, I think, the marriage rates and like folks who are settling down and staying married all the way through retirement are probably, I don't have the exact statistics in front of me, but they're probably lower than they were. And one of the things with retirement planning is, if you've got two people prepping, yes, you have to pay for the expenses of two people, but you've got two incomes in some cases. You've got, the ability to fund retirement accounts for two people, certainly, even if the other spouse doesn't work under like a spousal contribution. So, if you're single Pringle, then you've got to maybe do a little bit of extra legwork when it comes to retirement planning to make sure that you are safe and secure and prepared. So the number one thing here, if you are a single person and you are doing any kind of financial planning or retirement planning, even if you don't plan on staying single forever, early planning and strategy is really important. You want to make sure that you are building a resilient retirement income strategy. So you're looking at relying on your own FERS, your own Social Security, and your own TSP benefits, assuming you're under FERS. If you're under CSRS, it's just CSRS and TSP. And then, of course, any sort of savings or investment portfolio that you've built outside of that. So how do we maximize that TSP strategy? Well, we want to look at maximizing annual contributions. They are indexed every year for inflation. Currently, you can put in $23,500 if you are under age 50. And if you're 50 or over, you do get an additional $7,500 catch up on that contribution. You want to make sure that you are funding, you've got Roth option and TSP, which is your after tax, and you've got traditional TSP contributions, which is your pre-tax. You want to make sure that you're funding whichever one makes sense given your current and future financial context. And that sounds like me saying a whole lot of nothing. But the truth is that I can't tell you should put 100% of your TSP contribution in Roth or 100% of your TSP contribution in traditional. You really want to kind of maximize and balance between taxes now and taxes later. One thing to be aware of, single filers reach higher marginal tax brackets quicker than married couples. So that's going to make tax planning for you crucial. Thinking in terms of healthcare, long-term care, and estate planning. FEHB coverage, if you are eligible to retire when you retire, can carry over into retirement. But, this is a really important but, FEHB is not going to cover your long-term care needs. Okay? And we've got some stats for you on long-term care. 56% of adults are projected to need long-term service and support.
Absolutely.
10% of those folks will have needs that last under a year, okay? But 22% will require 5 or more years of care, all right? And long-term care is expensive, folks. In 2023, the average annual long-term care cost for a private nursing facility room, $108,405. That's per year. A home health aide, $61,776, and an assisted living facility, $54,000. And again, these are averages. It will be different depending on where you live. And if you are in the DC metro area, prepared for that to be above average. Okay. So you want to make sure that you are looking at those potential long-term care needs and that you are planning for it. Now, what does that mean? You can plan to self-insure, which means you fund your investment portfolio with enough assets and you plan and factor in what you're going to spend in retirement such that you have a buffer to pay for long-term care and those unexpected expenses. You can also look at potential long-term care insurance if that makes sense for you. Now, the federal long-term care insurance plan is currently frozen to new enrollees, and we don't really have a date as to when it's going to be unfrozen. There are some private long-term care companies that you can look into, but they are getting fewer and fewer. So really the self-insuring route, if you can do that, it's likely going to be the direction that most folks are going to want to go in. Now, as far as estate planning goes, I think estate planning can be seen as kind of easy for folks who are maybe like married and they have kids because, you name your spouse, you name your kids, it's sort of one and done. If you don't have a spouse, if you don't have kids, you can get a little bit more creative with your beneficiary designations, and you can look at, what charities do you want to give to, what other family members do you want to give to, what other friends do you want to give to. But the key thing here is make sure you've got named beneficiaries on all of your retirement accounts and your insurance policies. Make sure you have created a durable power of attorney for your healthcare and your finances so that somebody is prepared and standing in that spot and authorized to make decisions there. And make sure that you're regularly updating those estate documents based on life changes. So you should look at those a minimum of once per year. And that's everybody, single or not. So overall, you want to make sure that you're creating a support system for the future. Find your people, right? Find your family. You want to have trusted individuals who are around you to serve in those roles that I was talking about as far as making decisions regarding healthcare and finances when you can't. And consider professional help. Consider working with a certified financial planner if you are a Fed, which I hope you are listening to this podcast. You're also going to want that person to be a chartered federal employee benefits consultant so that they understand how the Fed piece fits in. We would be happy to talk with you here at Serving Those Who Serve. If you don't have a relationship with somebody, the key thing, as for these folks that are in this category, you want to take ownership of your future. Solo does not mean unsupported. Okay. So plan early, give yourself greater flexibility in retirement, and, enjoy not having somebody eating potato chips in your bed, right? So that's all we've got on planning for single federal employees. Dan, tell us about this Gerry Connolly guy.
Yeah. To open, I need to borrow from Shakespeare and from George R.R. Martin. We shall never see his like again. Now, as I say those words, I say that to honor Mr. Connolly, but I also want to be proven wrong. And I want to put this out into the universe right now. Whoever you are in the House, whoever you are in the Senate, if you're for feds, we're for you. Okay? We have over 1 million people coming to our website. If you need a channel to speak on behalf of advancing feds, I'm offering that. So in honor of this great friend that we just lost, May 21st, we lost a real titan. And when I get further into some of the facts here, you're going to see just how extraordinary this person was. Talk about working until the last breath. And I don't want to be callous here, but this is just exceptional. So, Gerry was known for championing federal employees and across party lines. It's weird that I get quoted because I don't see myself as a quotable person, but I have said to distraction, we don't see red or blue. The only color we see is Fed. And I believe Gerry was the same way, consistently advocating for the federal workforce. A couple of things you may or may not know about him. He earned a master's in public administration from Harvard and then entered public service in 1995 as district supervisor in Fairfax County, Virginia. He later chaired the Fairfax County Board of Directors. He was an early proponent, so he was a futurist, of telework policies. He was elected to Congress in 2008. Okay. Anybody remember 2008?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. No,
everybody was having a great time, right? Like it was,
and anybody who stepped up to serve others during that time, massive round of applause, because there was plenty for everybody to worry about for themselves. And that somebody would seek to serve others during that time is extraordinary. And he used his influence to support his constituents, veterans, and also their families. He advocated strongly for all federal employees, IT professionals, contractors, you name it. I want to touch on some of the roles that he held in his political career. As a senior member of the House Committee on Oversight and Reform, the chair of the Subcommittee on Government Operations, a member of the House Committee on Foreign Affairs, and Katelyn, you might not know this, but the Center for Effective Lawmaking voted him the most effective lawmaker of the 117th Congress.
Huh.
Okay. And that's the one that ran from 21 to 23.
Yeah.
So in there, getting it done. Let's talk a little bit about some of the legislation he's done for feds. He introduced H.R. 493 to raise federal salaries as part of an ongoing effort since 2016. The bill sought to ensure well-earned and substantial pay raises for federal workers. recently co-sponsoring legislation, HR 1522, the Federal Retirement Fairness Act, HR 1989, to Protect Our Probationary Employees Act. Does that sound current? I think it does. HR 2743, Raise the Wage Act of 2025, HR 2985, Modernizing Government Technology Reform Act, HR 3139, Public Service Worker Protection Act, HR 3226, the Law Enforcement Officers Equity Act, HR 3317, Honoring Civil Servants Killed in the Line of Duty Act. In response to things happening this year, remember the gentleman just passed after a long bout with cancer. So let's think about this. HR 2742, the DOJ Accountability and Transparency Act, and required federal agencies to provide weekly reports to Congress of major changes. And HR 3171, the Reduction in Force Review Act, which would allow Congress to challenge presidential workforce reduction decisions aimed to ensure federal employment actions align with legal standards. Mr. Connolly served the public for 30 years, consistently supporting federal rights and protections. His contributions can't be overstated. And it is my sincere hope that they will continue to have a continuing impact beyond his tenure in life. And so, next person up. Because again, and our Game of Thrones fans will probably appreciate this, for now his watch has ended. So, Congressman, we thank you for everything you did on behalf of feds. We will do our best to help and assist and support and advance. And if you're out there and you are serving in the public trust, and that's who you are and who you want to be and what you want to do, hit me up. We will help you reach the people you need to reach. So that's what I got.
Absolutely. We're all about reach, teach, and serve.
Yeah.
Reach is a big part of that, a third of it. Well, folks, that is all the time and a little more that we have today. But Dan and I will be back next week to bring you all the latest updates that you need to make informed decisions about your career and your financial well-being as a Fed.
Absolutely. And please, 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 if you're watching or listening to this and you haven't subscribed, please hit that subscribe button. And I'm asking you as a personal favor, because here's the thing. We have thousands of subscribers, but we also realize that 72% of the people who are watching haven't subscribed. So that's a big number. And if you simply remember to do that, just hit the button. We're not going to bug you. We're not going to annoy you. But this helps the algorithms tell people this is good stuff for feds and share it. So, and also please remember to share it with your friends and colleagues.
Yeah, I will say on the subscription thing, like, even if you're not sure where the alerts go for new episodes, if you subscribe on YouTube, because it's not very intuitive, right? Just subscribing helps YouTube understand, okay, this is valuable content. This is something that we want to make sure we're getting out to people. So it will help increase our, returns in searches and get us onto people's kind of homepage algorithms so that, we're reaching new feds and we're all about reaching feds and educating. And we've got a ton of free content. Speaking of free content, if you're interested in that, we got a whole bunch of it over at a little website called STWServe.com. If you go there, you can subscribe to our newsletter, The Weekly Serving, so that you can get all the latest news for feds delivered straight to your inbox every single week. We've also got a ton of free content on there backlogged, and we have some pretty cool webinars, Dan. Tell me more about that.
Yes, we do. But I want to add one thing. Don't let that daunting number that I said we had over 1.2 million people visiting. There's no lines, folks. We're amazing. We're like Disney. Okay, there's no lines. All those people coming, and you won't have to wait. But yes, don't forget our live webinars every single week, and a couple of upcoming ones on July 17th. We will have our tremendously popular and tremendously informative TSP webinar. That's from 1 to 4. You're stuck with me as host. So you won't have one of the cool kids on that one. And then on July the 22nd, we'll have our Social Security webinar, which is also fantastic. That goes from 11 until 2, and that will feature the incomparable Jen Meyer, who pinch hit for Katelyn last week and was so good that I'm pretty sure I'm out of a job somewhere. So, so you don't want to miss that. And sign up for one, sign up for all, share it with friends and strangers. They will thank you.
Absolutely. And of course, if you want that one-on-one approach, if you're looking to build a relationship with a trusted financial planner and investment manager that understands you as a Fed and how your financial situation is infinitely a little bit more complex, because of that, feel free to reach out to our team directly for a financial planning consultation. You can find us at meetings@stwserve.com. We'd be happy to talk with you. So I want to thank all of our listeners for joining us today for the Fed15. It is great to be back. I'm Katelyn Murray.
And I'm Dan Sight.
And we will see you next week. Take care, everybody.